And good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Alba. Me, your griot, here to tell you a story. And don't believe a word I say. Well, here it is Sunday, the Sunday after Easter, and we have been in what would you call it? Oh, well, an Easter month, if not longer, Ramadan and Lent, which Christians don't do anymore. Here's my little Bible. Right? See all these little things here, right? And here, and here. Those are all spots that I have marked. So I can get to them quickly because I read them every day. And this is our little Christian primer, Bible Studies for Life, and it's actually quite good, right? So as you can tell, this is for the Easter season, right? There's the what you call it, cross, right? And here are the subjects that are here. The mission of Jesus, that was back in March 3rd. The mystery of Jesus, that was March 10th. Um, March 17th was the identity of Jesus. March 24th, death of Jesus. And then we had the Holy Week. And then we had the resurrection of Jesus. And today was the mission of Jesus shared, right? And so this is the stuff we study in Bible class, right? And like I said, it's really good. I like it because it kind of gets you. Now I use it. I read what we're going to study for the week, and it gives quotes. Like where did I put my glasses? No, that isn't a quote, but it should be. Where did I put my glasses? Anyway, long story short, um, today, it was about sharing. So I come in before the pastor and the guy who teaches the class come in, and I talked to everybody. I said, "Hey, how you doing, everybody?" And everyone's just kind of like this. And I said, "Well, it's a beautiful day, and it is. It's a beautiful day." And you know, and here our mission, our thing is, and the message for today is sharing, right? And what is sharing? And the sharing that we should be talking about is the sharing of our heart and love for Jesus Christ and God and the Spirit, and the Holy Spirit, and that they are one God, but they're three characteristics. Just like you have, many different personalities, that's God, right? Plus, if you read the Old Testament, he's like a dude who's got a really wicked girlfriend, Israel, who just keeps, stealing his cigarettes and taking his loose change, and taking the keys of the car and running it into a wall. And he's also patient for thousands of years until he just kind of, as soon as he turns his back, bang, really bad stuff happens. Like all those people who were turned into pillars of salt, right? God didn't do that to them, right? All God did was turn his back, right? And when the few people who were righteous, um, he said, just leave town and don't look back. And the guy's old lady, she turned back and she turned to salt because basically we have a free will. And see, so this thing about sharing, the guy giving the speech kind of went off the hook because he said, we're living in end times and it's terrible. And how many Christians have been killed in the 20th century? Um, so I looked it up on Google and let's see. Let's Google once again. Google, how many Christians have been killed, murdered in the 20th century?
According to Deseret News, Barrett and Todd M. Johnson said from AD 30 to 2000, 70 million Christians died as martyrs. The majority of those martyrs were not in ancient times. There were 45 million Christian martyrs in the 20th century.
Okay. And that's straight up what the um, people in the Palestinians are saying about their children and women and innocent citizens who are dying. They call it to God, right? Anyway, so went on and on and on. How we need that speaking right from the pulpit that Biden is devil incarnate and Donald Trump is our savior. Now, I didn't say anything because I was saying other things beforehand. Because when we were talking about, when that last 40 days with Jesus hanging out with the boys, and they couldn't get their minds wrapped around because see, there's a difference between the disciples and the Jesus's boys, right? Who were the whatever they call them. Anyway, the bottom line is the devil, and then he said, "Oh, well, the devil is running. This is a devil's planet, and devil is running everything. Devil don't run nothing. The devil can tempt us, but cannot make us do anything. Why the devil was so bent out of shape was that we're the only creatures that can manifest with God, right? And the devil was pissed by that. So, but he has the juice to tempt us, right? Now we are very weak creatures, but not when we are in relationship, intimate relationship with God. And every time I say that to the flock, we need to be slaves to God. We need to be in an intimate relationship with Jesus Christ. And then people go, oh, I'm transgendered. Oh, homosexual. And when I talk to people one on one, they get it. When I talk to the flock, they don't get it, right? Because they're so programmed, right? So, kids, I've been talking about the great splat the last 7 years, right? And, no one's listening to this show right now. And that's fine because I am a shamanic griot. I am dropping um, the word of God's love, unconditional love, in co creation with us through Jesus Christ's unconditional forgiveness, right? And it's like a pebble, and I drop it into the pond of the World Wide Web, as I'm doing right here, right now. And it's, whether you watch it or not, it's going out there in the photonic space of the internet and going over everyone, right? So I am just the messenger. I am not. I'm not even John the Baptist. I'm not baptizing anybody. I'm just talking to folk, right? And that's what it. This, and that's what everyone said. Share. So it was pray and share, and he goes on about and Bart over there, that guy, Bart Simpson. He's terrible, but he, we've all prayed for him, and look at him now. And Larry over there, he had heart surgery, and I had heart surgery. Blah 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 blah. And I only survived because people, no one was praying for that dude. They all hate his guts, and he only does that thing because no one else wants to do it, right? And they sure wouldn't let me do it because the mentor, the high hippie holy guy, he is a rich guy and he likes being a pastor, right? Because that church has a lot of it's like 300 years old. It's got a lot of represent, and so nobody would get it. They couldn't get a pastor to be in that church, so he did it. And he's got big businesses and he sees it as a way to monetize. Now I'm judging here, not supposed to be judging, just like I'm not supposed to call anyone a fracking moron. And I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best, but I kept talking about how why weren't the apostles going along with Jesus? Why? Because they wanted something different. They wanted Jesus to be, a physical king that would kick the Romans out of Palestine, and not God. They didn't want him because You got all the Pharisees and even Paul, who used to be called Saul, was killing Christians as fast as he could, because he wanted everyone to go by the book, by the law. And Jesus said, he said, before Moses, there was no law. And everyone was just, butt naked, going crazy, doing whatever the frick they want because they could, right? Killing each other, wiping out civilizations, destroying the planet. Day one after Adam and Eve, but they didn't because we're in the garden. This is if here. Let's show you a garden. I mean, uh, uh, if that ain't the garden out there, I don't know what is. And it's 20 degrees out there now. But I mean, come on, that's the garden. We're in the garden. And if you go to the Gaza Strip, that's hell. That's the burning lake of fire. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with your Sensei El Bob. And so I kind of didn't go to um, the other churches because if my sweet little church was going to go off the rails on condemning and wanting all the Muslims dead, then the Methodists and the Catholics would really be so, because those two, and I'm not stating that all Methodists want to kill everyone who's not a Methodist, but they seem to talk that way. And I'm not saying that all Roman Catholics are in that boat either. But if you look at their historical sense, basic reason why close to 2 billion indigenous people were murdered since well, just roughly since Christopher Columbus. But we could go back further. We could go all during the ADs, Dominus. After Jesus, the Christians, once they became the Holy Roman Empire, went on a rampage of killing everything they could. So and why does the First Amendment say our Congress will make no there needs to be a separation of church and state? And what does every freaking politician say? Oh, we're a Christian nation. No, we're not. Anyway, so ooh, ooh, oh, I'm gonna let you just look at the beauty of this over there. I'm gonna go check the laundry. Well, I'm back. So, anybody there who wants to say something? You know, I'm living in a way that God is leading me to, meaning I've gotten rid of all my wealth. I live on $400 a month. Right? I asked you guys to send me something in PayPal, but I don't need that. It's almost more bother than it's worth. Just like the $70 in food stamps I get, and the state is saying, we think we're going to cut you down to $35. Oh, gee, thanks. But none of that matters. What matters is love's co-creation. What matters is your relationship with God. What matters is the space that we have, right, with love in our heart, right? Not going on and on about sin, and we live in a material world. That's an illusion. Period. It's an illusion, right? It was set up so we could experience our free will, so we could go to God freely, right? Now we have, so far we've been around, I don't know, as a species, maybe a million years as a organized um, cultural experience, probably within, at least within the dynamics of where we are now, 60,000 years. But it's pretty obvious from what I have seen, um, other civilizations that were here way, like Atlantis, Lemuria, and that's just the two closest to us. There have been hundreds before. And if you checked all of the indigenous peoples' cultures, which we have totally destroyed. And the war in Syria was specifically to wipe out whatever little remnants of what was past history. And the war in Afghanistan, we stole when we went into Iraq in '90. Right? So, anyway, that's it. I'll come back a little later. I'm just doing the laundry right now, and no one wants to say anything. I'm going to come back. Oh, what time is it now? How much battery do we have? Well, we have about 85% battery, and the time is almost noon, 11:55. So I'm going to basically, you know, close out right here, right now, and I'll see you later, right? And I might do it from where I'm going to go get something to eat. All the churchy people were going to be there, so I'm going to sit so you can see them. And all these churchy people, I don't always bless my food. I do my best too because I know that it's what heals me, and also it's thanks to God. And we get also distracted in our little petty little lives that we never give God any kind of John Boy, praise God, praise Jesus, praise God, praise Jesus, praise God, praise God. Well, that's good actually, And now if he could take it down a notch and integrate it into what he does, because from going on talking about praise God, praise Jesus, and then he starts to show us all the stuff he's getting from Amazon. And it says in the Bible, I can keep all my stuff. It doesn't quite say that, but anyway, I love you guys, and there's two of you there now. I would keep talking because the dryer is running. If you guys would basically, um, you know, say something, because it's a live chat, right? I want the interaction because when two are together, well, there's two of you there, but you say something, we can talk about what you want to talk about. There's one thumbs up. I like that. And go tell your friends, subscribe, hit the bell, do all that stuff. Be nice if thousands, millions of people were watching this, because they might get a heads up on what's coming. So we're talking about the Bible, and why do we read the Bible? And I say, well, because it's the living relationship we have with God. No, it's the law. I said, no, we're not litigating with God. We are having a conversation with God. You know, put money in the basket. You know. Yet, so I go to these churches because I know the people. I don't, I'm not a big fan of the religion, the subscribed institution, but they try and do their best, and that's what they try. They try. They don't do, but they try, right? And trying is the first step you do before doing, right? And so I'm in my friend's house, and he's very generous to anytime you need anything, just come in, take it out of the fridge, blah blah blah, right? And every Sunday they have Sunday after church meal instead of going to a church like most of the church people do, and it's nice. So I'm sitting here where I got the table set, and I often come to this, but I can, I read people well, and everyone knows me and everyone loves me, but I can often make them uncomfortable just by my presence, right? And if it's one on one, not a problem. If it's a small group, not a problem. But if it's a group that's a cohort, that it's their thing, their team, their crew, and I'm not quite, I'm a pleasant guest. So I really am nice, not nice to them, but respectful, and that when they say, "Hey, would you want to have a meal with us?" Sure, I'm right there. But unless they ask me, I don't go. And I didn't tell them that, but then they might feel obligated. But whenever they say it, I'm there, right? And when I'm there, I'm the fun. I'm all, but I'm never the talkative one. I'm not positive. Interesting life, and you too can have one, right? If you just let go, you don't expect anything. Just let go. Anyway, uh, the crowd should be coming soon, so I'm gonna. So come back in about 30, 40 minutes. Take a look. Subscribe there, V, and hit that bell because I'm going to come back in about 30, 40 minutes. Right? And I'm going to talk as long as I can, and then I will go up and probably come back around 3 or 4. So that's what I'm looking for. So how about some thumbs up? Subscribe, hit that bell. I'm going to be back in about an hour, and then we'll talk for about an hour, and then jump back around 2. And go check out my shows. They're all there. They're all there. I'm going through it, making sure that everyone is public. The problem for somehow, on some reason, some of them aren't public. I have to go into little settings and make them public. So anyway, that's the story. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later.